listening to the Announcer's Table with Daryl and Ian. This podcast is presented by RingIcon.com, the social networking site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything indie wrestling. Log on today and create your profile, and as always, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, this is the Announcer's Table, and this is Ian.
And I'm Mr. Wrestling Kevin Steen. No? I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm Daryl.
You're nothing like him.
I could be. I can do the package pile driver.
The only package pile driver you do. Never mind. All right. So this is the Announcer's Table presented by RingIcon.com. You can check out this podcast every Friday. We're going to be doing it here at RingIcon.com/podcast. You can also check it out on YouTube.com/RingIcon. And you can find the podcast audio version at iTunes. And then you just search for Ring Icon. But we want to welcome you to the show, and we want to say happy 4th of July.
Absolutely.
We're proud to be Americans. And we have a great guest for you today.
Yeah. Funkmaster V.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We've been talking, him and I've been talking back and forth all week. I'm excited to talk to him. Like we said last week, it's a bunch of great videos. If you go to a site, which we'll have the site up, I believe it's funkmasterv.com.
Yep.
Go check it out. He has a bunch of funny videos up there. He is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, and I mean, we're really excited to talk to him, but also he kind of sums up a lot of the things we've talked about previously about branding yourself, because he does nothing but brand his gimmick. I mean, so he's definitely sets an example and sets a standard that I think a lot of wrestlers should live up to.
That's him right there. Hey, yeah. Very patriotic for the 4th of July, too.
Yep. So we got Funkmaster V on later. Last week, we had a great show. We had Josh Vaughn on, and he talked to us about his wrestling experiences and things like that. So we're glad he was on. If you didn't get to check out that video, go back and check it out. We also did a new segment, the Announcer's Take, where we review products and things before you can, or not before you can buy them, but before you would want to buy them or watch them. You know, we're going to review them and talk about them. But we did the OMG top 50 moments of WWE. So
yeah, let us know if you agree with number 1, which I think everybody will. But number 2, come on, that was wrong.
But yeah, if you didn't watch that, go back and check that out. So
now, upcoming in today's show, we have, like we said, our guest is going to be Funkmaster V. In the promotion builder, we're going to be talking about drama in the locker room. And
don't talk about me like that.
Yeah, exactly. And the Gimmick Builder, we're going to be talking about gear, which can be
very controversial.
That could be a hot button issue with a lot of people.
That's probably going to cause some drama.
That's definitely going to cause some drama. And then we're going to do our pros segment, and we're going to talk about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that's coming up, and what we like about it and dislike about it, and things like that. So I'm excited. I think we got a good show coming up.
Yeah, and this week in Ring Icon news, I just want to say that we've gotten a couple more people that have downloaded the app for Android. There's some updates that I need to put out for it, but so far, I haven't heard anybody really complaining about it. So I guess it's doing the job. But
I think so.
Also with the website, if you ever see anything that you think should be changed, or if you think there should be a feature that's on another website that should be on ringicon.com, check it out and let us know, and we'll try our best to do what we can. We've heard nothing but great things from people about the website. We've heard a few things that needed to be changed, and hey, we changed them right up. So
yeah, absolutely.
Anything you can think of with Ring Icon to improve it, we would be glad for the feedback. We also want to say with Ring Icon News is that we might be changing up the format of things and moving things around. So just be aware. Things could be changing up a little bit on the way we present things.
I think it'll be better.
Yeah, definitely. Anything we do is supposed to be better. Yeah. So, if you come back, next week or the week after, and it's a little different, definitely just let us know, and we want to bring you the best information possible. So
absolutely. And also, if you want us to come to your show, send us a message on the website. I'm Daryl on the website, obviously. Ian's on the website. Just shoot us a message, and we'll come check it out.
Most of the time, I just check the ring icon page on Ring Icon. So if you just go to ringicon.com/user/ring icon, you find me there.
Right. Now, moving on, in today's in the promotion builder, like we was talking about earlier, we want to talk about drama, and you want to tell us what you think drama in the locker room?
Man, there's so many things that can be construed as drama. And some of it is a show. I mean, there's a lot of drama that happens that's just part of the show, part of the wrestling industry. But there's a lot of unnecessary drama, and I think that's where we're really aiming at, is there's a lot of unnecessary drama that just doesn't need to happen, or, things that people just take out of hand. And, there's family members, there's children, there's, things that happen in the back, ways you do things. I mean, they all cause drama, and it's just not worth it.
Absolutely. I mean, because it can really ruin a show and just hurt people's feelings. Like, one instance of drama that I think is unnecessary, that could absolutely 100% be avoided, is if you're not a part of the show, don't go in the locker room.
Yeah.
All right. That means, if your wife, girlfriend, isn't your manager or valet, she doesn't need to be in the back. And vice versa. If you're a female wrestler and your boyfriend is not a wrestler or manager or whatever, he doesn't need to be in the back. They need to stay out front. They don't need to see everything that's going on in the back. And, because the booker's back there trying to tell y'all what to get ready for, how he wants to see, what he wants to see. And you can't have time for all your significant others and stuff like that being back there getting jealous.
I mean, I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but children in the same respect. I mean, obviously you want to bring your kids back, show your kids how it is back there, and introduce them to some of the guys you're working. I mean, if you're a heel, you want to let your kid know that it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
get that. My dad took me in the locker room when I was a kid, so.
But there's a point where you just don't let them play back there. Show them around, introduce them to the guys. You know what I mean? And let them have a little bit of fun
before the show.
Yeah, but after that, take them back out. Have them take a seat. That kind of thing. But definitely.
Now, Ian and I have very different opinion on kids in the wrestling ring.
Yes.
I feel no kid and nobody outside of workers should be in the wrestling ring, especially after the show.
I agree with you, but then I want to stand up for the people that do allow kids in the ring. Before the show, definitely not. I just don't think it's necessary before the show. I mean, it makes you look unprofessional. It's not a very good environment, especially if a kid gets hurt. Then people are freaking out because a kid just got hurt in the ring, and I've seen that happen. And so that's not a good thing. But I say if it happens, which I agree with you, it probably shouldn't. But if it does happen, I think it should be after the show.
Yeah, now, I'll say that. After the show, I don't agree with it, but if you're going to allow it, after the show, after everybody's left.
Yeah, after all the fans or marks have left.
Yeah, because what's going to happen, in my opinion, is the wrestlers' kids, families' kids, are going to get in a ring. Then the fans who don't know any better, their kids are going to want to get in the ring.
Yeah.
And I think that could be cause for problem.
Yeah.
As whereas the kids who are family and are in the ring all the time, are used to it and stuff like that, these fans' kids aren't.
Or heaven forbid, if a kid falls off the side of the ring, that's a good 3.5 foot 4 foot drop if they fall on their head.
I did that one time. I was sitting on the side of the ring at a practice, at one of my dad's practices, and they had a ring set up outside doing all the practice stuff, and I was sitting up and I was leaning up against the ropes. I was like 9, 10 years old or something. Guy was running the ropes, hitting the ropes, bounced me right off, and I landed
Slingshot.
on a pile. Yeah, I landed on a pile of plywood and like just cracked my skull. My dad tells me all the time, he's like, "Man, I just remember that deafening sound of your head cracking, and that could be a lot of what's wrong with me right now."
Probably. But I mean, what I was getting at was that, you know, if it's a family member's kid that's in there after the show and they fall, 99% of the time you're not going to have an issue. The person's going to, you know, deal with it. You know what I mean? But if it's a fan that gets up there and hurts themselves, you're going to have a problem. Yeah, you're going to have a lawsuit.
I mean, I don't know any promoter that has insurance.
Yeah, they're not in Georgia. There's very few that do that, which is another thing we'll probably talk about eventually. Is
because Alabama passed some laws.
Yeah, having to do with sports commissions and things like that.
Yeah, and I think Tennessee is close to doing it.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in another segment. Maybe next week we'll talk about that. But as for drama, kids in the ring, it can cause drama. Especially if someone gets hurt, something like that.
Well, something else also, like if say you're a wife, all right, and you're not part of the show, you're an audience, and your guy's like his character or his gimmick is that of a ladies' man. Don't get jealous and be getting all crazy because he's like acting as a ladies' man.
Yeah,
you know the same thing with if you're a guy and your woman is out there, she's just playing a part. You know, just don't bring all that unnecessary drama. It's stupid and just totally unnecessary, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you on that. I mean, there's aspects of it that, you know, that it's hard for, and it's difficult for a wrestler or a man to say to your wife, you know, calm down. You know, that never goes over well.
Yeah,
if you ever try to tell a woman or your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, hey, calm down, it's just a show. It's probably not going to go over very well. So, I mean, remember to do it in a nice way, but you know, you do want to let them remember that it is a show. You know, if your gimmick is the ladies' man gimmick, you're going to have to show some love to the other ladies in the audience. And I mean, you might be single after the show.
Well, even as a baby in general, you want to hug and stuff like that. There's just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see so many cases of people getting jealous over stupid stuff that it's just part of the show. That they wasn't going like out of bounds per se or acting, you know, overly towards anybody else. It was just unnecessary.
But where we're going with this is that might be drama. I mean, that might cause some problems between you and your significant other, male, female, whatever. But that's drama that you need to deal with at home.
Yeah.
And don't let it affect the promotion because I mean that's what we're talking about. I mean you can fight it out and change up your gimmick next week or whatever you feel needs to be done, but for the sake of the show, for the promotion, you know, leave that drama.
Leave it at home. Don't bring it in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if y'all have any other opinions that differ from ours, which I'm sure people will.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and
shoot us a line.
I know some people that we know are probably thinking, man, they're talking directly to me. Please don't take it as we're talking directly to anyone. Because,
I'm just kidding.
But, you know, I mean, there's a lot of drama with it.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of shows where there's just been stupid stuff.
Some other things that cause drama are, you know, respect in the back. I think we're going to talk about respect as a gimmick or as a person. You know, respect in the locker room.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things, the do's and don'ts, but just always remember to treat everyone in the back with respect, whether you're a high card, you know what I mean, pulling in big money for the promotion, you know, leave your big head at home.
I mean, here's the one: if you're wrestling, indie wrestling, you're doing it because you love it. Because I don't know too many true, honest indie wrestlers that are getting really paid. Yeah, you know, are making big bucks to be that bloated in the head.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, check your ego at the door and just be about building the promotion and getting more fans in there and getting more people in there and stuff like that. That's my whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's when it comes to drama, there's so many people that cause drama because they feel disrespected or something like that, and it's just not worth it. When you know you don't have to take offense to everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of people take it seriously. Take wrestling very seriously, but at the same time know when to let things go and just say, he didn't know better, or let me talk to him later about it in private, something like that. Definitely don't go spreading it over Facebook. We've seen that a lot. And there's so much drama now, drama on Facebook and on digital. That's probably a whole nother subject altogether. It's drama on social media is completely unnecessary, and definitely don't cause drama or start drama or even bring drama from Facebook,
especially
or
like
something
one
like
show
that.
to another show and everything else. But all right, so like I said, if y'all have any other opinions or think any other ways, just drop us a line, let us know. And what we're about to do now, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to set up for our special guest, Funkmaster V. Make sure you check out his website, funkmasterv.com. He has a bunch of awesome videos on there. And we'll be right back with Funkmaster V.
Yep.
All right, on the phone with us right now, we have Funkmaster V. He is the current EGO Pro Heavyweight Champion and the East Tennessee YouTube TV Champion. Welcome to the show, Funkmaster V. How are you doing?
It's time to ride the funk train, y'all. I'm doing great. I'm on the mothership, hovering over rainy Knoxville, Tennessee this evening, and it's beautiful. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, that's great, man. We're very happy to have you. We said in an earlier segment that you set an example for branding your gimmick and branding yourself. So we're definitely happy to have you on.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, I appreciate that, and we were talking a little bit before. We started recording here, but it's something that's easy to do. Gosh, we live in a day and age where you can really get your name out there easily, and any wrestlers watching this or any promoters, take full advantage of Facebook, Ring Icon. Of course, it's kind of a preaching of the choir, the people watching this, or people that already found Ring Icon, but I'm surprised if there's just not 5 million users already, because it's just a no-brainer. It's just an excellent website, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's very similar to Facebook. It's a great way it's actually even better. I like how you can integrate videos. I wish Facebook was better that way.
Yeah.
So there's some things about it that are just outstanding. You guys have done a great job. And
thank you very much.
If you're a wrestler out there and haven't used it, you're not using the site, you're just wasting publicity space.
Hey, we agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, how long have you been in the wrestling business?
I've been in it for 6 years. I've always been in entertainment, and I was a disc jockey on the radio for a long time. I was a stand-up comedian. I was a professional musician and supported my family by playing music for 9 years. And at one point, I was on the stage, and we played Nashville one night in front of, I think, about 1,000 people, and we played Cookeville, Tennessee, in front of several hundred people. And both nights I was yawning. And I'm a New York Jets fan. I remember Joe Namath saying one time, he goes, "When you're yawning on the football field, it's time to retire." And I remember I was standing in front of all these people playing music, getting paid great, and I was bored. And I said, I've got to find something else to do. And wrestling was something I always wanted to do. And I knew there's a certain window of time physically you got to break into that sport. And so it was my next adventure. So I jumped on that, and I've had tremendous success wrestling around East Tennessee and other places as Funkmaster V.
Yeah.
Well, no, we got a highlight reel playing in the background right now, and I keep looking at it. It's a pretty good match. You just the guy just threw you into the rope, and then you ran into the other rope, and you bounced back. You did a back bump, and then rolled yourself up. I just stopped myself from laughing because that's pretty hilarious. I've never really seen that move done like that, or seen that move at all. I was like, wow, that's pretty neat. Who was you trained by?
I was trained by Chris Cameron, who's a guy that has just totally fallen off the scene. He was really big in the early 2000s, late 90s, when people were doing a lot of hardcore matches. In fact, he would go around from region to region doing, just these hardcore matches. People call them garbage matches or whatever, but the guy was a tough guy, and he also was with Billy Marshall, who has had some probably more long-tenured success. He's still in the business today. He's wrestling all over East Tennessee. He's wrestled Kentucky, North Carolina, and he was at one point mentioned in PWI magazine as Medic Madness. He's a fellow that's got dozens of gimmicks, and it's kind of what, he does one. He's a kind of a big guy, so he does one where he's called the Super Cruiserweight. But he's about, at one point, he was around 400 pounds, and he'd bring a rigged scale into the ring, and he'd stand on it, and it said he weighed 140 pounds, and he does another one, Juggalo Jack. The Juggalos are real big in Southern wrestling for some reason. He was one of those guys.
Yeah.
Just a bunch. He was a guy, he went by Purple Terror, and all he had was a purple elbow pad, and the rest of him was black. So he's a lot of fun. He's actually a genius when it comes to in-ring psychology.
Yeah.
So Billy and Chris really get the nod for that.
Yeah. Well, how often are you wrestling now? Do you wrestle every weekend or every couple weekends or so?
I try to pace myself because I am getting up there in age. I'm wrestling anywhere from 2 to 5 times a month. I have offers to wrestle a lot more than that, but I just don't take it up on it because at this point, wrestling just needs to be fun for me, and I make money other ways. I make money with wrestling, but I just got to be able to keep it fun, and the way I do that is by spacing it out and making it more like an event. There was one point where I was wrestling 12 times a month, and
wow.
I was getting beat up, and it just wasn't fun. It became just a job, and the money is not what it used to be. If I was getting paid what a top tier guy on the territories was getting paid, I mean, that's one thing, but how sometimes you're lucky to get out of there with anything more than gas money. So
yeah, I think that's kind of what happened with me. Is I was really working the same show every weekend for about 2 years, and I loved the guys there. I loved working there, but after doing the same show every weekend for about 2 years is when I kind of started to, I guess, get burnt out from it. And
yeah. Now, do you have a home promotion, or do you just travel around everywhere?
I travel around. I got a call last night at 3 in the morning to go wrestle in Corbin, Kentucky, of all places, and that's one I'm actually considering. I say no a lot. It's no offense to anybody. It's just I got to make sure it's worth my time. But the one place that I do really at this point would consider home base for me and my fans to go see me is Ego Pro, which was last weekend. I just won the heavyweight championship there, and that I'm honored to do that. There was a guy on our roster that was on Raw the other week. That's a pretty good roster. I mean, you've got Menace, you've got Ricky Valentine, Octavius Black, Bob O'Mac, Spoonie Mac. Everybody has to rhyme with Ack. No, I'm just kidding. But there's like Black Tiger, Claymore, Connor Cruz, Cadillac Cowboy, and I'm going to leave a bunch out. But there's a bunch of guys down there that are just outstanding guys, and the level of competition is pretty high. So I'm honored to be the champion of that group.
And is that in Knoxville?
That's actually in Athens/Sweetwater, Tennessee, which is a lot closer to you guys than Knoxville. It's about an hour outside of Knoxville going towards Chattanooga way.
Well, we'll probably have to come up there and see it sometime.
Yeah, that's only about 2.5 hours from here.
Yeah.
If that.
That's not too bad.
No.
They do a great job. The owner of the company is a guy named Barry Allen. He's just a knucklehead. He was real big into the golf. Gosh, he's gonna kill me because I don't know. I'm not into his stuff, but I mean, he was really into like the DJ scene of the 2000s. He's in the burlesque dancing stuff. I mean, he's really a neat guy, and a lot of his personality kind of seeps into the wrestling, and it's just a unique show up there. So it's a lot of fun. In fact, he names all the shows, and last show was called Enchantment Under the Sea. And for those of you who didn't know, and I didn't know until a couple days ago, that's the same thing. That's the dance from
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he named the show that for the DVD and all that. So he's an knucklehead. He's a lot of fun.
All right, well, Funkmaster V, we're going to go into some questions. Ian and I go back and forth and ask you certain questions, and they could be, it could be professional stuff, indie stuff, whatever your answers want to be. I'll start with the first question. What is your favorite gimmick match?
I'm not a huge gimmick match guy. I think they're way overdone. I think the sport needs to be represented. The sport needs to be wrestling. And gimmick matches should really, in my opinion, just kind of happen when it's logical. When the feud cannot go any further. And if you're talking about stopping a feud, I mean, wrestling, to me, it's synonymous in pop culture. It comes to cage matches. People will say cage match outside of wrestling. It comes back to the sport. It's the ultimate way to blow off a feud and to really take the guy that's been getting a lot of grief over the last few months. So I've been in one cage match that was huge, and it changed my career. A lot of stuff can happen in a cage match that doesn't happen any other way.
Yeah. Well, if you could wrestle anybody, living or dead, who would you want that to be?
I don't want to beat Ric Flair with the figure 4 leg lock for the NWA Heavyweight Championship. I mean, that would be. You watch Star Trek, and they had that saying where you go in that room and you go live whatever fantasy. That would be one of them. I'd lead the 68 Jets to a Super Bowl III win as Joe Namath, and then I would probably be Ricky Steamboat beating up on Ric Flair, probably. I mean, that would be a dream match for me.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Now, who is your favorite wrestler? And you can't say yourself. You can't pick you. You can't say like I'm my favorite. You gotta somebody else besides you.
Flair is obvious. I mean, my finisher for years has been a figure 4. I think the thing I like about Flair is that he gives, and it's something I think more wrestlers should do. Watch how the man gives. He's the champion of the world, and look at the business he did trying to make baby faces look good for years back in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. He just gave and gave and gave. And if we had locker rooms full of guys that would give instead of guys trying to hit 55,000 spots, trying to impress somebody so they can go work for Ring of Honor, these independent shows would be a lot more successful. It just, the unselfish Flair, I think, is awesome, plus his work rate and his promos there. But if I was going to say him, because I just mentioned him a minute ago, I would encourage everybody to go look up Johnny Saint. He's a British wrestler, and there are tons of the psychology of the British wrestling from the 70s and 80s just is dripping. It's called World of Sport. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Everybody, especially Southern wrestlers, if you watch this British wrestling, you would learn so much psychology to bring to United States style wrestling or Southern style wrestling down here. Even if guys are doing pure wrestling or lucha libre or strong style, whatever, or sports entertainment style. A lot of that stuff would carry over, and Johnny Saint just was unique and just tremendous.
Well, we'll have to check that out.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll see where I roll up in the ball, where I got it rolling up in the ball from if you watch that. Let me just give you a hint.
Okay. Well, if you could pick out a favorite moment in wrestling, what would that be?
Personally, or watching it as a fan?
Either one.
Yeah, either one.
I guess one of my favorite moments. This last weekend was pretty good. I won 2 title matches in the same show. But overall, we go back to when I was a heel. I had a rival named Bob O'Mac, who's a squeaky, church-going, clean cut, good guy. Just makes you sick how good of a person this guy was. And I actually convinced his little Vestal Virgin type wife to get mad at him one day, and she started being my manager as Beth O'Funk, and the crowd could not believe it. That this beautiful little girl was hanging out with this hairy, afro, disgusting Funkmaster V, who's vile. And one day we got to, she debuted, the commissioner didn't like her, made her, trying to get back at us, had her wrestle, and she just was not an athlete. And I actually trained her to the point to where she went 2-0 on that show. She beat a guy named Dr. Ketzer from the Hits from the Zodiacs, and then we, in a mixed tag match, we won that later that night. So that was some of that stuff. If you look on YouTube, on there, I think there's a video of me helping Beth Funk work out, and that was a special night because that was a lot of fun. Because we got to involve a lot of friends. And it's good business. It's just good wrestling. You don't see a lot of stuff like that in local wrestling, and it was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, what is your most embarrassing moment that has happened in wrestling?
Most embarrassing moment. Wow. Golly, I studied these questions. I forgot about this one here. I don't know. I am such a perfectionist. Almost every match I had something that I think back on, and I'm like, why in the heck did I do this? Something really bad happened recently, and I'll share this as a lesson for other people. I was recently screwed in a. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. I was recently hosed over in a match, and it was supposed to be for a title. And the contract, they whipped it out and said it was a non-title match. And I'm the baby face, of course, and I start pleading. And the heels didn't leave the ring, and I felt like at some point in the match that I'd taken liberties with my opponent, and I didn't want the guy to think I was trying to be a total jerk the whole night, so I don't know what the clean word is, crack can him, or I didn't ditch him out of the ring like I should have, and we ended up doing this kind of pose with each other with our fists raised, and I was sitting there going, what am I doing? It was just one of those moments in time where you have to, good guys and bad guys cannot stay in a ring at the same time. And it was just, I was trying to be nice, and a lot of the times in wrestling where I've had an embarrassing moment happen, I was trying to be nice to the guy, and sometimes you just got to be mean and beat the crap out of people if they make a mistake and talk about it over there. So it was just kind of awkward, and I really was like, God, that was awful. That was pretty bad, but
yeah, I've had a couple moments like that, so.
Just the awkward after-match, what are we doing in the ring kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just one of those little weird hiccups that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to do a lot of babyface saves, where you had the whole babyface crowd come in and try to, not get 2 or 3 heels out of the ring, And I remember I was standing by the door ready to go because I knew it was going to happen. And then, so as soon as I knew it was going on, I ran out there and didn't realize that, all the other baby faces weren't behind me. So obviously I'm the one baby face running out there trying to do a save. And then I pretty much get my butt kicked because, I
think you got set up on that, though.
Probably.
I think they just pulled a rib and set them up.
Yeah, but even then, that doesn't make you look bad. See, that's the thing I think a lot of us don't realize. Even though something's going haywire, in our own brains, the fans don't really know unless you really just make it look like, oh my God, we're having a take 2 or whatever. You just got to act like, because even we have tons of different kind of weird things happen this Saturday in a couple of our matches, and we were lucky enough to cover them all. And that's the whole thing about wrestling. It's an art of trying to control chaos sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you might have already answered this one, but what is your favorite finisher or wrestling move?
Well, right now, since I'm trying to sell T-shirts, I've got a move called the Red Fist Funk, and because this year I've been putting people in the figure 4, and the bad guys have been getting in the ring and breaking it up and stuff, so I wanted something a little quicker, and so now I'm coming off the top rope with a flaming fist, and just totally burning the people's flesh and hair and zits as I come down with that big flaming fist, the funk, and there's even a T-shirt that celebrates this maneuver, and it's $15 at the next show that I'm at. And but anyway, the Red Fist Funk is fun. I had a fun vignette if people are into looking up stuff. I think it's called Funkmaster V and the Red Fist Funk. And if you get halfway through the little promo, I get to act with my kids. And
I did see that one. Yeah, I saw that video. Yeah, I've seen that one. That one was pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, all your videos are either really funny or just good wrestling. So, I mean, you're definitely somebody to subscribe to on YouTube. So.
Oh, absolutely.
What's your YouTube channels?
It's Funkmaster V, I think. Okay. I mean, if you go to, I appreciate you guys plugging my website, funkmasterv.com. If you go to the top, there's a matches and promos button. Okay. And if you go there, it has pretty much everything. It doesn't have the new one I had. It will by the time this airs, but doesn't have one of the new ones. But it has pretty much all the videos of Funkmaster V there.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. What is your favorite champion of all time? And I'll elaborate a little bit. It doesn't have to be, it could be World Heavyweight, it could be United States, Intercontinental, Tag Team, any kind of champion. Just what's your favorite champion of all time?
I'll go away from Flair. I like how Flair defended the World Championship when he was with NWA. I just thought that was wonderful business. And I loved the gimmick when he went up to WWF and challenged Undertaker and Roddy Piper and Hogan and Macho Man, all them cats with the NWA belt, or the WCW, I can't remember. But I always loved the television title from WCW and NWA. I just thought it was a neat premise. So I liked Arn Anderson being a Horseman guy with the belt, and there's been other guys that had the TV title, but I just always loved that you knew. I'm a little bit older than you guys. You might not have seen this, but the TV back then was a lot different, and I'm sure you guys know that. But, I mean, every Saturday you can pretty much count on the TV champion being on TV defending that belt. And great psychology with that belt. The belt meant something different back then. And it was just really cool.
Yeah, I remember. I'll be 35 this year, so I mean I remember a lot of the old wrestling like that, and And I remember we had a channel down here in Georgia. It was Channel 69 here. And you had Joe Pedicino and Bonnie Blackstone. It was like, I don't know, 13 hours of wrestling or something. It was something ridiculous. It's come on at like 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock. It didn't go out to like 3 or 4 in the morning. And it was like different wrestling promotions. It was awesome.
I'm moving down. Is it still on?
No, sadly, there's not a lot of wrestling on TV anymore.
No, well, there's a lot of wrestling on TV. It's just called WWE.
Yeah.
I think they now have a show every night of the week just about. It's insane how much stuff they have. It's crazy.
Yeah. Me, I like my wrestling a little bit more sweatier and tighter, confined places and a lot less fireworks.
Yeah. I don't know. I got out of WWE for a while and kind of distanced myself from it, and then I guess I kind of started liking it again in the last couple months.
Well, the last couple of weeks, the Raws I think have been pretty good.
They've gotten a little better,
I watched it, but I heard that the WWE has gotten a lot better, and I think I don't pay a lot of attention to this because I'm not trying to get a contract, but I think there's a lot of guys, new writers or something, have been hired. A new crop of people to come in and help them watch television, but I don't know. When I was a kid, the wrestlers were the managers, and that's another problem with wrestling these days. There's not enough male managers.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Ian and I had this conversation.
Yeah, they would come up with their own stuff. They were unique. Like even the term Four Horsemen came out of the interview. It wasn't some writer that wrote it down. It came out of, it was just a fresh, real moment on television that took off, and we miss a lot of that now, and they're trying to force these giant guys to be funny and to be able to talk, and most of the time it don't work, and the guys that aren't decent at it are the ones that can make a real good living, but we have to endure a lot of muscle heads that shouldn't be talking. They should have a little Japanese man or an Iranian man talking for them or something, and things would be a lot better.
Yeah. Well, if you could consider somebody overrated or underrated, who do you think that would be?
Well, probably the most underrated wrestlers are people we would never hear. There's so many guys on the indie circuits that should be known, like Sean Schultz, and if I start a list, I'm going to send a lot of people, but he's a guy from locally that's great. There's tons of guys in this area. There's tremendous talent in this area. There's not too many great promotions, but there's some tremendous talent. But if we want to talk about somebody that's well known, I guess my guy would be Bad News Brown. And if I ever had a class, we would study Bad News Brown because Bad News was a unique person. It was, first of all, wrestling to him was all about money. It was his job. Therefore, he was very serious with it. But he was the only American to ever win an Olympic medal as a judoist. And I did judo as well. In fact, I won a state championship in judo many years ago. But the guy could work. He was a judo champion. He could beat people with flying, just arm locks and leg locks and sacrifice throws, and he could choke people out. Yet the way he wrestled was the way he needed to be. He could have been considered one of the best workers of all time, and I think he is, but he was a black Stone Cold Steve Austin before Stone Cold was popular.
Yeah.
He came out. He didn't care. He did not care who was baby or heel. He wrestled the same way. Punch, kick, cussing, looking like he's just dog ill. And now we've got everybody wanting to land these cool moves. Bad News could land cool moves, but he didn't. Because it was his job to make the other guy look good.
Yeah.
And that's something we forget in this sport is I wrestle differently as a heel and a baby. And Ric Flair and Bad News and other guys, there's a reason for that. And that's something I think a lot of us need to realize. Well, if I'm a heel, do I need to do a swanton bomb or a frog splash or a 540 or a 450? I can't do one, so I don't know what it's called. But it's like, what are we doing out there, and why are we doing it? And if you are a heel that can do all these athletic moves, then maybe you don't need to be a heel no more. Maybe you need to be a baby.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason heels cheat is because they're not as good as the baby. But anyway, that goes back to the psychology. But anyway, I just think Bad News was awesome. He didn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now, what is your favorite tag team or stable of all time?
I'm just a Horseman mark. I know everybody says that, but gosh, it was awesome. And the Horsemen turned me at a very young age. At first, I hated Ric Flair and them guys, and about a couple months into watching the NWA, I realized the game and what was really happening, and then I thought it was genius. And I just really loved that. And I mean, you got to go with them if you're going stable, because everybody's been trying to emulate that. I mean, there's a reason there's 4 people in stables all across the country, and they're all trying to emulate, the 4 horsemen. And a tag team, I'd give it to Midnight Express. Love Jim Cornette, love Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton was sick a little while ago, and we're losing so many great wrestlers, and it's awful. I mean, we're losing guys almost, it seems like, every week, and he was able to turn it around, thank God, and Midnight Express is still rocking and rolling. So.
Now, my favorite stable is the Fabulous Freebirds.
Well, I've had several people come up to me. Well, several, I mean 2, because I like to exaggerate. I've had a couple people come up to me and they said I should. Well, my hair is afroed out, which is when I'm a heel. See, people don't. When I'm a babyface, I want to look good for the girls. When I'm a heel, I want to kind of grow the afro out. Just a little psychology, guys. But anyway, when I have my curly hair rocking and rolling, people say I look like Jimmy Garvin, and I should do a Jimmy Garvin Jr. thing, which would be pretty good. But yeah, the Freebirds are awesome, and they were a big part of why WCCW was so popular, and you just can't beat them guys, Gordy and Hayes and Garvin. And who was the other one? There was another. Garvin was later. Who was the?
Yeah, it was Buddy Roberts.
Oh, that's right. I couldn't remember his name, but yeah.
And oh crap! Now I'm drawing a mind blank. Michael P.S. Hayes, Buddy Roberts.
Well, Gordy, right?
Yeah. Terry Bam Bam Gordy.
Yeah, those guys are great. That's a good one too. There's so many that are good.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is, like, I always forget that Jimmy Garvin was actually a part of them. I always think of, like, the original 3. They're the only 3 to ever stick out of my mind. Until you just said it, I never think about Garvin being a part of it.
Well, Garvin had his own thing. Like, Garvin's were great. I think they have a lot to. They have a lot in Knoxville. At least Ronnie Garvin does. I'm friends with him. Everybody in this area would say this, but we love this guy named Mac McMurray, who's a referee, and he refereed matches between Hogan and Andre the Giant. He worked for Vince, and we rely on him. Some of us do for some mentoring and some advice. What did you think about this? And he'll tell us. He won't spare us our feelings or anything. But he's best friends with Ronnie Garvin, and I've been invited to go up and eat a barbecue with him before, and I have no idea. Now that I'm telling you this, why I never have done that. But
I think I would definitely go.
It should be a wealth of information, man.
Just the knowledge you would learn.
I know. And then Mac is real good friends with Danny Hodge, which was a boxer / amateur wrestler and just tremendous shooter and a pro wrestler. And I think he was from Oklahoma. But anyway, he's got so much knowledge. It's just sick.
Well, the last question on the list is, do you have a favorite catchphrase, either your own or, professional catchphrase?
Oh, it's time to ride the funk train. toot toot, baby, because it is time. The funk train is heading out. We got to get all the funk believers. I mean, you know, it's all about Rick James and Rose Royce and James Brown and Sly and the Family Stone and all the ones that have gone before shining down from heaven, man. We're in perilous times, and I got to tell you, we need a little good feeling music. Music can save your soul, and it's time to take it to the next level. So, time to ride the funk train, and that would be it, baby, because that's how I live my days. 122%. It's about the power of the funk, man.
Now, let me ask you a question. How tall are you?
I am a 45'10".
I mean, you look pretty tall. Like, I'm watching some of your clips, and you look pretty tall. Like, compared to a lot of these guys that you're wrestling.
I'm taller than most women, so there you go. You can put that down. I am.
Well, I think I'm taller than most women. I'm only 5'8". So.
There's a lot of small guys wrestling now, and a lot of it comes from that lucha libre and strong style and pure. And I guess there's a lot of backyard stuff that is guys that start in the backyard and they kind of come in, and all these skinny kids that sit and play the Nintendo in their mom's basement. That they
hey now, no,
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm just
milk that for as long as you can. But they, little small guys, man. I think I saw Raven say one time, 220 would be a small guy, really small guy back when he started. Now 220 is a big guy, and I've lost some weight. I've lost some weight recently. I'm down about 213, but I'm about in that range. So
because when I started wrestling, I think I was around maybe 220, and all the guys were like, "Man, you're too big to be doing moonsaults, and you're too big to be flying over the top rope." I'm like, I'm 220.
Yeah.
And then by the end of me wrestling, I was down to like 190. But I mean, even then they were like, "You're too big to be doing this." I'm like, I'm not that big of a guy, but whatever.
I don't know. Oh, that's the end of the questions. Funkmaster V, let me ask you, do you have anything coming up?
Well, yeah, I have a big match. If you follow me on YouTube or want to get into the history of Funkmaster V, I have an Ego Pro Heavyweight Championship title defense against the Demon. And the Demon and I were a tag team called Detroit Funk City, which was a KISS/funk-based tag team. And you're just talking about awesomeness 100% back in the day. But they kicked me out of their little group, and I've been on the straight and narrow, so to speak, ever since. And he's come back into my life. And they're billing this match as the Red Fist, which is my finisher, the Flaming Fist. The Red Fist is called the Red Fist versus the Yellow Mist. And back in the day, me and the Demon, if you watch one of the videos, we uncovered the paralyzing yellow blood mist, the rarely used Great Muta Asian mist. I found it in a library. It almost killed him, but he uses that now sometimes as a finish. And so we're going to see which one's better between the Red Fist and the Yellow Mist.
When
you go pro in Sweetwater on the 12th. And then,
okay, on the 12th.
Yeah, or I'm sorry, the 13th.
Okay.
13th, that's Saturday. Electrical Community Center, Ego Pro. 20th, I'm wrestling for a group of fellas in Wartburg for ERA Wrestling. And I got called. I'm considering doing a shot up in Kentucky for PWF, but I don't have a date on that. They said they would. It's going to be next month sometime. But other than that, I mean, I do. I'll be on the radio a couple times here and there and all that stuff. But as far as wrestling, that's what I got coming up in the next couple of weeks.
That's great.
Well, we're excited, man. We definitely. I want to stay in contact with you because I want to. Ian and I want to come up and check you out in person and watch you wrestle in person. We're actually watching you at a Ego event right now. I didn't catch the guy's name that you're wrestling, but I'm excited. Man, I like watching your videos. I like watching your little comedy stuff that you do. I think you're very funny. Ian and I have talked about you since you joined Ring Icon, Ian and I, you've been many topics of our conversations. I mean, we've talked about you quite a bit.
Well, thank you. Hey, what's funny too, comedy has its place, but as Jim Cornette says, funny don't draw money. It has its time and place. Sometimes I think a lot of people use too much comedy. I think people don't use enough comedy. I think it should be there in every show. It shouldn't. If you come out and see me wrestle, it's not going to be you're not going to watch a stand-up comedy routine. Sometimes this last Saturday, I mean, it was all business. In fact, a lot of people were like, that match you had with Connor Cruz, the first blood match was too violent. So you got to learn how to go up and down with that stuff. Yeah. And if you have a natural propensity for comedy, you got to know when to throttle it and when to ease off the accelerator on that stuff. And if you do, you'll have a lot of people that care about what happens to you. So I do appreciate your comments, because I know you talked about the Lactac commercial. That was just, I was sitting there one night thinking of that guy that was in that commercial, was the luckiest guy in the world to be. Just, we want you to pierce your eardrum with a Q-tip and scream.
Right.
For an instrument. And I just thought, that's the best acting job ever. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I liked it. All right, well, Funkmaster V, we want to thank you for being on the show. It was great. Everybody, please go check out his website, funkmasterv.com.
You can also see a lot of it on Ring Icon, because he posts it all the time.
Yeah, he posts all the stuff on ringicon.com. Check out his profile on there.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you for doing the show and being on here. And we look forward to meeting you in person and coming up to Tennessee and watching you wrestle.
Man, that's great. Thank you guys. Keep up the website. The website's great, and I appreciate you guys. And you guys are doing a good thing. Keep chugging along, and you will reap rewards in a short amount of time. I guarantee you that.
Well, thank you,
Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. We'll talk to you later.
Y'all. Believe in the funk.
All right, have a good night.
See you, brother.
All right, well, that was obviously Funkmaster V. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be jumping into our Gimmick Builder and talking about gear, which could be a dicey subject to some people, especially if you follow certain people on Facebook and online and know how they feel about it. And we'll talk about a couple of websites and stuff that talk about gear and the hot topics of gear. So we'll be right back with that.
All right.
All right, welcome back. We just got done talking to Funkmaster V. That guy's a character.
And he knows his stuff, you know? I mean, that's the thing.
We talk about wrestling history all the time, and we actually have a mutual friend. I like to call myself a walking wrestling encyclopedia, because I know way more than what I should know about wrestling. And we actually have a mutual friend who is, if not right at me, maybe a little past me in wrestling knowledge.
Past you.
And I'm not going to say past me, but Funkmaster V, man, he really knows his stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Really knows his stuff.
Yeah, and you can tell that he's absorbed a lot of the older history of wrestling. Yeah. That really helps him build his wrestling ability. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, I kind of learned from a newer generation. Yeah. You know, more of the Jeff Hardys and, the Edge and Christian and all that kind of stuff. That's where I kind of, RVD, that's where I kind of learned my style from. And so I'm very fast paced, and I'm not as, I don't take as much old school in as I probably should have, or when I did wrestle, you know? Yeah. But he knows his stuff. And
well, he seems like he's
very big on psychology with wrestling. And
he's just a real student of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's really into it. He's really... And honestly, watching his matches, you can see that it comes through if you study your craft. Mm-hmm. Okay? Anything you want to do in life, you got to study, you got to practice, you make yourself better. It's obvious he studies his stuff. He knows what he's doing. He knows how good or how much psychology plays a part in telling the story to the fans and connecting with the fans. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm really glad he was on the show. I know we have talked about, since we started a website, and he joined the website. We have talked about him, obviously off camera, numerous of times, just some of the stuff he posts.
And that's just another great thing about ringicon.com is that we would have never met Funkmaster V
never had a chance
without that. And so, that's what Ring Icon is about, connecting the independent scene.
And scroll down
together.
real quick, Becca, please. So we got a new guy right here. Go up. Up a little more. Jay West just joined.
Yeah, and we know Jay. He's a great manager. He manages a lot of great talent.
Is that Casey Cage?
Yeah, with Casey Cage.
Look at that, Casey Cage right there. All right, that's Jay West right there.
Yeah.
So we got Brian B. Bangin right here. He's at SCW.
Yeah.
Look at this good-looking couple right here. That good-looking bald-headed dude. That's me. And so we post a lot, and here's some Funkmaster V over there. And,
Funkmaster V down.
This is the episode where we started with Josh Vaughn. So you get to meet a lot of different people. If it wasn't for this website, we would have never come across Funkmaster V. And,
definitely.
It was awesome. All right. Well, let's move on. Earlier we was talking about how we're going to talk about in the Gimmick Builder gear, and with anybody, it can be a real hot button issue.
It's a touchy subject. I mean,
for a lot of people,
because I'd say a lot of the wrestlers or a lot of guys that are very, very serious about the business. Gear is one of the number one things, probably right there next to wrestling ability, because if you don't have the gear and the look, then you're not putting out a good product.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of sites, and obviously everybody knows there's trash bag wrestlers that's on Facebook, and they constantly post pictures and stuff of people's lack of gear, which always every picture gets highly debated because the person finds out they're on there, then they get their friends, family, whatever to go on. They start defending.
Honestly, I disagree with the site just because it's one of those things like we talked about earlier. It causes drama and it's unnecessary. I mean, you need to talk to people where things like that and say, that doesn't look very professional. I mean, honestly, it's not our responsibility to tell them. You know what I mean? It's the booker's responsibility and the promoter's responsibility to say, you're not geared enough for our show. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can't really blame the worker because they're wrestling. You know what I mean? They might be an astronomical wrestler. You know what I mean? They could be one of the best wrestlers, but if they're coming out looking like crap, that's their fault. They need to gear up. They need to do some things. But honestly, if they dress like that, they shouldn't have anywhere to wrestle. So a promoter or a booker shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the site. I mean, I go on there. I've known a few of the wrestlers that have been on there. One guy was on there that we both know. I'm not going to say any names. They caught him when he didn't have his gear on. He was going in for a cage match, and he didn't want to. He does have gear. He's a phenomenal worker, but he didn't want to wear his good gear in the cage match for it to be messed up. So the pictures kind of. There's always stories. You never know. But I mean, I kind of see what they're saying on that website as far as like they're calling people out, because some people sometimes I just think just don't have a clue. They wasn't trained right, something. But I think gear is very, very essential. There's this one guy that I know we both follow. We agree with some things he says. There's a lot of stuff you don't agree with. I'm still on the fence on some things, but for the most part, I kind of see what he's saying. It's called the Angry Wrestling Vet. He's on Facebook, and he talks about gear sometimes. Yeah, and I mean, his you should have gear. Period. Okay. Now,
I agree.
We should probably define gear.
Yeah, okay? I mean, well, that's the problem is that gear is dependent on your character.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If your character is meant to look like a trash bag wrestler, I mean, that's your gimmick. If you're meant to be a redneck wrestler, most of the time you come out in jeans and boots and
but how much of it comes out to be laziness?
No, I agree. I mean, but the other problem with it is that affordability. I mean, I hate to say it, but to get a full get up with boots, tights, I mean, everything, knee pads, tape, everything, you're looking at a good, at least $400, $500.
Yeah, boots are like $150 to $200.
Yeah, so I mean, it does come down to affordability. I know some people can't quite afford to jump out there and do that, but one, you need adequate wrestling boots.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you can't afford boots right off, okay, there is a good substitute: wrestling shoes. Yes. That like what amateur wrestlers wear.
Yeah.
Okay, I wore them when I was an amateur wrestler. They're very comfortable. They support all the parts. You can buy short ankle, high ankle.
Well, that's what I wore when I wrestled. I mean, I wore wrestling boots because I liked wrestling shoes because I like to have the flexibility in my ankles and things like that. So I wore wrestling shoes with kick pads. I mean, that was the way I like to do things. That's really affordable. I'm surprised one day, I'm sure I'll end up on Trash Bag Wrestlers because I wore pants with a white t-shirt with my kick pads and wrestling shoes. That's the style I liked. I don't like wearing tights. That's just not my personality.
Yeah. But that's what today's wrestling, or today's indie wrestling really is you see that a lot. Is people don't like wearing tights. It's viewed as, in my opinion, it's viewed as very old school. It's not new school type, but...
And that's my opinion on it. I mean, really, I think tights, some of them can look really cool. Some people pull them off really well. But for me, I'm not crazy about them. I'm not a big fan of tights.
Yeah.
But...
I think... Here's my opinion. I'll just give it to you straight. All right, if your gear fits your gimmick, I'm cool with it. Okay, I'm not cool with you just being lazy and throwing on some blue jeans and a t-shirt and freaking wrestling. Or a lot of stuff that we see a lot of times is blue jean shorts and a freaking wife beater. Okay, that just doesn't cut it. I mean, put a little more thought into it. You can get creative with street clothes to fit your gimmick.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, it's very simple to create an iron-on and make your own kind of custom logo shirt or something that fits what you have going on.
Yeah.
I mean, just put a little more thought into it. Get gear. It's important, regardless of what the gear is. It doesn't necessarily have to be tights.
Right.
Just something to fit what you have going on, and don't be lazy about it.
Well, and in the grand scheme of things, investing, $300 or $400 in gear is well worth it. I mean,
if that's what you want to do, and you want to wrestle 1 to 2 times a week, that's wrestling every Friday and Saturday night, and so that's 2, 4, 6, 8 times a month. Okay, I mean, people are going to see you. They're going to want to see you. Okay, and if you're just going out there and you're looking trashy or trash baggy, that's not appealing. I don't get interested in watching that.
I agree.
I mean, you may be, but here's the thing: you may be a great wrestler, but if you just look very frumpy and look like crap, it's going to really take away from that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm not a fan of tights anymore. I just think
but like I said, they don't have to be tights.
No, I understand
just
that, but so many people are. There are even promotions out there, which I understand. Promoters can do whatever they want. That demand you wear tights. You can't wear anything but tights in their promotions, which I completely understand. If you want to do that, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with that because you never know what the character. Like, for example, Funkmaster V doesn't wear tights, but his outfit makes sense to his character. So I mean, if you're doing like a bum gimmick or a redneck gimmick or something that kind of requires that kind of look, okay, I get it. But I mean, one thing I will say, enough of the Punisher shirts. I mean, good night. It's like every independent wrestler.
Yeah.
Is that like the independent wrestling theme? Is the Punisher shirt? I mean, I know I'm going to get some crap because I have a family member who wears a Punisher shirt all the time to wrestle in, and so I'm probably going to get a phone call after this video. But
no, they switched it up. But
okay, good. but I mean, everybody if you check out the Trash Bag site, if you follow that already, 9 out of 10 posts on there, it's like a lot of them just have Punisher shirts on.
Yeah.
It's kind of amusing.
But the number one thing is that's unacceptable no matter what, for me, is tennis shoes. Never. I mean, you should never be wrestling in tennis shoes.
No, I mean
either, that's just completely unacceptable.
Either have wrestling boots or go get you like a $20 pair of wrestling shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get some basic amateur wrestling shoes, the cheap brand for like $20.
Yeah.
Just buy those. But wrestling in tennis shoes is ridiculous. I don't care what your gimmick is. Yeah. I mean, no, there's no call for just wrestling in tennis shoes ever. Ever.
John Cena.
But I can't.
There's always that exception to the rule. But if you're making millions, you can wrestle in whatever the hell you want.
When you're a professional, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, and I'm not a big fan of him wrestling in tennis shoes either.
Yeah.
But it fits his gimmick.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's caused him problems too. He screwed up his ankle a couple months ago. And I'm sure that has to do with part of him wearing tennis shoes.
There's no support in tennis shoes.
So
at all.
But as for gear, I mean, some people hold tights, for me, way too high into standards. But I will say that if you want tights, there are plenty of guys out there that make custom tights that look really good. And you can get them at an affordable price. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if that fits your gimmick, I know a lot of heavier people tend to, get away from tights, which I agree with. I don't want to see an large
you don't want to see
guy
me in tights.
I really don't want to see somebody of Daryl's size or larger in full tights, just because it's a turnoff.
Unless it fits your gimmick. I mean, because we know. I mean, there's some the centerfolds, for example, had on tights, and they're all they at the time when they was together was all really big dudes, and their whole gimmick was centerfolds, and they thought they was all that flamboyant and stuff, and it went with their gimmick.
Definitely. But I mean, as much as gear plays into how you look for your gimmick, for your promotion, I mean, you've got to think about what do fans want to see. Fans don't want to see a 400-pound guy in a spandex suit. I hate to say it. I know that goes against old school traditions, but nobody wants to see a 400-pound dude in a skin tight outfit.
Yeah. Bottom line, it's like, if it makes sense, fine. Yeah. But your gear needs to fit your gimmick.
But I guess I'm trying to argue with you, because I look at these trash bag sites and people posting pictures, and it aggravates me how many people just turn it on them and say, man, I can't believe they would step in the ring like that. You know what I mean? When I'm like, well, yeah, they look like crap. And, that dude's like 300 pounds. He probably, not 300 pounds, but like 400 pounds. He probably shouldn't be working anyway. You know what I mean? But if he's going to be in there, you don't want him wearing a singlet, or
well, that's like I said. I mean, I don't think you have to have like tights, like spandex tights.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if you do have those on, you can have something on over them.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole thing is, I just want it to make sense. I just want your gear
I agree.
to make sense. And if you're doing like a ladies killer kind of gimmick, but you're wearing like raggedy jeans and a t-shirt, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I see that a lot of times. It's like people coming out and they're just wearing like just stuff that they would just walk into the show in.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even change. They just walked in off the street, hopped in the ring, and started wrestling. But their outfit just doesn't make sense with what they got going on.
Well, I guess it comes down to be creative. You know what I mean? Incorporate your gear into your gimmick and be creative with it.
Yeah. If anything, if you don't like being on the website and you get on there, it's going to probably motivate you to get some gear or do something creative and to make it fit what you got going on. And now I can't say I agree with everything they post. I don't. All right, because there's sometimes I'm like, you know what? Like, to me, the outfit makes sense because I can see kind of what they're going for. But then there's sometimes it just, like, makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Like, don't do promo pics in your street clothes. That never looks good. I mean,
well, we talked about promotional pics last week on the show, and you need to have really good promotional pics, and they always need to be in your gear.
Yeah,
and,
in the gear.
Don't do some crazy background behind you either.
Yeah.
Like flames or something like that, because you're just asking to get, reamed. But,
absolutely. All right. Well, if you have any other opinions, which I know everybody has different opinions all across the board on this one.
Yeah.
Feel free to argue with us, agree with us. Let Ian know that I'm right and he's wrong.
That's okay. You can say that, but in the end, you're wrong.
Now, in closing, I've had a busy week. I know you've had a busy week.
Yeah, we hadn't really had a chance to go to any shows recently because a lot of things have changed personally in our lives. But we're going to try to get to some shows soon, and we'll be able to introduce some new local shows to you.
Now, we do have a guest next week. Becca, can you pull it back up the website real quick, please? The Ring Icon site. If she's pulling that up, I'll go ahead and tell you who it is. It is Hellraiser John Arden. I know we had said he was going to be on the show a while back.
Yeah.
Something happened. He couldn't make it. If you can find his site.
You can probably just drag this around.
Yeah, drag this over.
You can just drag it.
He's around here somewhere. But as she looks for that, he's going to be on... He's not up there. He's going to be on it. On the show next week. I'm excited. I can't wait for him to be on the show. He's a member of a group called HCP, which is Hardcore Productions. Y'all go to ringicon.com, check out his profile.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some match highlights, as we've been doing here lately.
Yeah, and you can check out. You can probably check out YouTube and type in John Arden, and you'll probably find a bunch of videos from NEW and things like that.
Yeah, I mean he's all over YouTube.
Currently, he's the NEW heavyweight champion.
Yep. And he's exciting. I really like watching him work. He's very funny.
Yeah, and he's definitely taught me a lot of what I know about wrestling and the business, and he's mentored me. So
so I'm excited. He's going to be our guest next week. You got anything coming up this week?
Not this week. Just happy 4th of July. We're
absolutely
definitely.
We know it's already passed. It was yesterday.
It was yesterday, and you're probably watching this later in the week, so it's way back when.
Yeah.
But if you're doing anything for 4th of July weekend, be safe and don't blow your hand off.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
don't light fireworks inside your promotion or inside a. Pyrotechnics might work for WWE, but do not try them in indie shows.
No, absolutely not.
Or you will be burning down the place, and then you'll have one of those. I don't know what that white. I don't remember that band that lit the place on fire, and so many people died.
I don't even remember that.
It was horrible. But
way to end the show, Ian.
I know.
Let's just end it on death. That's how we roll here on the announcer's table.
Ian the Show Killer Carson.
Oh my God. I apologize about his behavior. As always, we want to thank our executive producer, Becca. She's doing a fantastic job running the Icontron back here. Not really, but we got to boost her ego somehow. Always, makeup artist Trixie Rotten. She is horrible as well. Sound tech, he's probably the best one here, is Garrett Michael. He's definitely a beast. And catering by Nina's. Woo! That was some good stuff today.
It was.
I'm telling you. I can't even begin to tell you what all we had, but it was amazing.
Lots of food.
So, all right, we'll see y'all next Friday.
This is Ian.
And I'm Daryl.
This is the Announcer's Table. Remember to check us out every Friday. And just remember that some things might be changing up on the docket, but you'll be sure to check it out at ringicon.com/podcast.
Exactly.